This is a Squiz Kids podcast. Your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you.
Hello there and welcome to a very special Squiz Kids Q+A, part of our ongoing series of interviews with people in the news, where you, the kids of Australia, get to ask the questions. I'm Amanda Bauer. Over the school holidays, there'll be a cool new animated movie in theatres near you, The Bad Guys. You've heard of the Bad Guys books, right? Mr Shark, Mr Wolf, Mr Piranha and Mr Snake. A bunch of guys who are good on the inside, despite their bad guy exterior. Well, those books, which have sold a staggering 30 million copies all over the world, were written by Aussie author Aaron Blabey. And to kick off this year's series of Squiz Kids Q&As, Aaron has agreed to answer all the curly questions you can throw at him. Aaron Blabey, welcome to the Squiz Kids Hot Seat.
Hello.
Now, we've received more than 200 questions from the kids of Australia and we've chosen our favourites for you. Are you ready to jump right in?
I can't wait.
Excellent. All right, our first question comes from Mitchell and he wants to know, what made you choose the animals wolf, snake, shark and piranha?
I chose those animals because they're my favourite animals. I have always loved the scarier animals. And when I was a little boy, there was a movie called Jaws 2 about a shark, and I had to be led out of a cinema with my eyes closed because the poster was too scary to look at. And from that moment, I've kind of been obsessed with them.
Now, Harriet has a fantastic question that follows on from that. Harriet?
Hi Aaron, my name is Harriet. I am 8 years old and I live in Sydney, New South Wales. My question is, if you could have one of the bad guys as your pet, who would you have and why?
Oh, the bad guys can't be anybody's pets. They just wouldn't stand for that at all. But if I was going to hang out with one, I think it would be Mr. Shark.
And why is that?
Because they're just my favourite animals. I love them. The sharks are my favourite animals. So from that scary experience as a kid, they became my favourites.
Well, so many people are afraid of sharks. It's good that they're your favourite. Our next question comes from Jenna.
Hi Aaron, my name is Jenna. I am 10 years old and I live in Exeter in New South Wales. My question is, does anyone you know match a personality in the book Bad Guys?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I put people I know into my book. Sometimes it's me. You know what it is? It's usually a mashup. It's usually parts of people I know, parts of me, parts of things I see, things I hear, and I sort of blend them all up and turn them into characters.
Aha, you said part of the characters are a little bit like you, which feeds beautifully into Imogen's question. She wants to know which character is most like you.
I am probably the closest to Mr. Snake, I think. I think Mr. Snake is my favourite character too, so I don't know what that says about me, that my favourite character is the one that's most like me. But he is the one who is... I like the fact that Mr. Snake struggles the most in that team, and I kind of relate to that. I think it makes him the most interesting character.
Do you hate birthdays as well?
Do I hate birthdays? No, I actually don't share that with him. I actually really like birthdays. And I'm like a big kid on my birthday.
Mia has a question about your process and your inspiration for the series. Mia.
Hi Aaron, my name's Mia. I'm 8 years old and I live in Nelson Bay in New South Wales. My question is, what inspired you to turn 4 angry creatures into good ones?
I've been looking for a cool idea for a very, very, very long time, and when I was sitting down with my little boy and we were reading a book that was actually really boring, and I thought, I'd love to do something cool. What could I write that would be cool? And then at the time, he was into scary animals, and that reminded me about how much I liked scary animals, and I thought, well, what could I do with them? And then I'd been thinking about another idea about characters who were kind of getting judged for the way they looked, and those two things clicked together like two pieces of Lego, and I went, oh, wow, I think that might be it. And there they were.
Now, in the movie, there's a 5th character, Webbs the tarantula. Can you tell us a little bit about her, Aaron?
Yeah, well, if kids have been reading the books, they'll know that my tarantula character is called Legs, and he's a boy. And the reason we changed that character is there's 20 episodes in the Bad Guys series of the books. Agent Fox comes in episode 3, and then her team, her female all-girl team, comes in episode 5.
But the movie couldn't cover all the way up to episode 5 just in one movie, I guess.
We wanted to have not just Agent Fox, but we wanted to have another really strong female character. So we went back and looked, and the obvious choice was Legs. And when we flipped it and made Legs into Webs, and then we got the amazing Awkwafina to do the voice, that character just sprang to life. She's one of my favourite characters in the movie, actually.
I loved her too. Now, Charlie has a bit of a cheeky question. Charlie?
Hi Aaron, my name is Charlie. I'm 10 years old and I live in Hopetown, Western Australia. My question is, Aaron, are you a bad guy? And do all bad guys have a little good in them?
I'm delightful. Look, I think everybody has a little bit of good and a little bit of bad. I think that's what makes people interesting. And yeah, I think that's why, maybe that's why people seem to like the Bad Guys books, is that it's about characters who are a little bit complicated. They're not just one thing. They're maybe a little bit of both.
Absolutely. Cardboard characters are no fun to read about.
Yeah.
Now, of course, our audience are kids at school or of school age. Isabella has a question for you about your time at school.
Hi Aaron, my name is Isabella. I am 11 years old. I live in Appin. And my question is, what story did you write in primary school that you were proud of?
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? I actually don't remember the stories I wrote at primary school. I moved around a lot when I was little, and it wasn't until I remember vividly, though, I remember when I went into year 7. It was the first school where I knew I was going to be staying. And I think I probably just relaxed because I knew we weren't going to move. And I remember writing a really silly story that made my English teacher laugh. And it inspired me to kind of keep doing that or keep thinking about being creative.
Do you remember what it was about, why it made her laugh or him laugh?
It was at the time there used to be a comedy team called Monty Python, and I loved them at the time, and it was very Monty Python-esque. I don't remember the details, but I know it was very silly.
Love it. Mia wants to know a little bit more about your reading habits.
Hi Aaron, my name is Mia and I am 10 years old and I live in Sylvania, New South Wales. My question is, what is your favourite book that you wrote and one that someone else wrote?
My favourite book I've written is probably the first episode of The Bad Guys. I love that book because it opened the door to this whole universe that I get to make up every day. And my favourite book, if it was one, I'm going to pick one from when I was a kid. I loved the Tintin books, and to be specific, my favourite one was the one that Steven Spielberg kind of made into a movie a few years ago called The Secret of the Unicorn, about the message hidden in the little toy pirate ship. I love that.
Yeah, it's a cracker.
Still do.
Yep. Now, you talked about loving movies and books. Rutland has a question about that process.
Hi Aaron, my name is Rutland. I am 9 years old and I go to Topanga State School in Kingaroy in Queensland. My question is, how long was the process of turning a book into a movie?
I first went to Hollywood at the end of 2016, so however long that is.
Cripes, 6 years. What's it like to have it come alive, to see it on the screen?
It is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me, to have made something all by myself in my little studio, and I just draw pictures and come up with, stories and gags, and then to see it turn into this giant, big, spectacular thing with a cool soundtrack and amazing actors is the coolest thing that will probably ever happen to me ever.
Now, you haven't just written about the Bad Guys, you have some other series, and Elliot has a question about them.
Hi Aaron, my name is Elliot and I am 8 years old and I live in Glenhaven, New South Wales. My question is, will Pig the Pug and Thelma the Unicorn have a crossover in the Bad Guys books or movie?
Yeah, it's funny you should say that. I actually have a new series coming out that I can't talk about yet, but I'm pretty excited about. And it will have a major crossover with the Bad Guys. But yes, even Pig will potentially enter these worlds too in a slightly different form. So yeah, I love the idea of that kind of crossover universe thing like they do so well at Marvel. There are plans afoot.
Fantastic. Well, Elliot, you're seeing into the future there. That's very impressive. Aaron, sadly, that's all we have time for today. It's been a privilege talking to you, and thank you so much for taking the Squiz Kids hot seat.
Oh, my very great pleasure.
And congratulations to the kids whose questions were selected for this Q&A. There's a family pass to the Bad Guys movie making its way to you. And a huge thank you to all the kids who sent in a question. They're all fantastic. You're all very clever. And if we could have recorded for hours, we would have loved to thrown them all at you, Aaron.
The questions were awesome.
That's because Squiz Kids are awesome. Now, Aaron, will you do the honours?
Now get out there and have a most excellent day.
Over and out.